Hello and welcome to another Overpaid Over the Bar video with me, Anthony. And this week we're going to look forward to the last of game week of the first half of the season. That is game week 19. And back at game week 18, which was pretty bad for a lot of people that are doing pretty well in the league. So let's look at my team. This is the first week of the season where my score, which was 40 points, was lower than the average point. So up to now, I've been pretty lucky and had good judgment. This week, the luck did not go with me, and I already knew my team wasn't looking pretty good. I scored 4 points less than the average point, so that perhaps is a signal that I'm doing things wrong. I did get one thing right, which I said in the video last week, as to play Dubravka over Sanchez. And if you played Dubravka over any of the top goalkeepers, he would have scored more. So that's one thing I was very happy about. The one also I said I was going to get in Gravenberg. I didn't get in Gravenberg. At the last minute, I looked at Newcastle's fixture against Burnley this week, this Saturday, and I thought I'll get in Anthony Gordon instead. Because I also thought that they might do well in the fixture at Manchester United with Manchester United missing Bruno Fernandes. I thought they might be a bit weaker. As it happened, Manchester United were rubbish in the second half, but Newcastle were rubbish in the first half, and they couldn't get it together in the second half to score an equaliser. Gordon had a good game, quite happy with his performance. I think there's a good chance they'll do well at Burnley. And I think I'll explain why in a moment, but I think that is a good fixture to target, actually. I've heard some people saying it's not because of Newcastle's away record, but I'll explain why in a minute. Otherwise, I was very grateful that Mukiele got two defensive contributions against Leeds because in the last game I got 4 points. Bukayo Saka got 7 points, and that's a pretty good return with one assist, pulling in a couple of bonus points there. Otherwise, Thiago did as well as Ekatike, which I was happy about. I wasn't especially outscored by a lot of other teams around my rank, so my overall rank dropped to 80k, which isn't, I mean, still very happy about it. I'm just not that happy about my team. I'll show you in a moment what I've done this week and what I intend to do in future weeks. In the league, my nearest rival, Matthew White, scored 32, so he dropped back a bit. Notable scores: Jake Wadley, John Holloway's nephew, he scored 60. Ekitike Taka, Matt Cox, Liverpool fan based in Portugal, like me, scored 66 points. Good score. Otherwise, nothing to write home about, really. Everyone suffered a bit. I would say that Piers keeps moving up the league, and I'm hoping to get him in for an interview next week. And I hit him up today, ask him about if he can do an interview because this is really great from Piers. 66 scored this week. And if you look at his overall rank in the last 3 weeks, his overall rank has gone up from 3.3 to 1.5 in 3 weeks, which is amazing. So I might get him in later in the week. He's our star performer at the moment in the overpaid over the bar league. So nothing much to say there. I want to go straight to the fixtures now because just be aware of this. I'm not sure if I might it just hit me the other day. Game week 19 is tomorrow, Tuesday. I'm recording this on Monday, the 29th. Game week 20 is on Saturday in 5 days' time, right? Game week 21 is on Tuesday week, tomorrow week. So that's three games in the next 7 days. And then game week 22 is on the following Saturday. This is going to play havoc with certain teams in terms of how knackered they are and how well they perform. And it's also going to mean that rotation can damage your score very easily. during this period. So even players that have looked completely nailed up to this point could disappear from your starting lineup, and that is going to start in this game week. No question at all, right? And it's we don't know which players are fitter than others. We don't know which players the manager will choose to rest. We do know that managers will probably pick their best players for the most difficult fixtures. That's all we do know. If you're Liverpool, you don't really have difficult fixtures in this period. If you're Arsenal, you've got Aston Villa at home. I'm looking for the next one. You've got Bournemouth away. You've got Liverpool at home. And then Nottingham Forest away. Now, none of those fixtures are easy. I mean, there's two away fixtures at Bournemouth and Forest and two home fixtures with Liverpool and Villa. I mean, that is crazy. Arsenal now, we've said all season that their strength in depth could win them the league. But these four fixtures are going to really test Arsenal, who have not looked great going forward. Let's be honest. In the last 3 or 4 weeks, they really haven't looked that strong going forward. So I don't know. We could even say after these next four games, we'll really decide if Arsenal are capable of winning the league. Because I think Manchester City might be top in a couple of weeks. But I don't know. Let's see. So let's see. I've said that's my catchphrase. All right. So let's look at game week 19. This is tomorrow and Thursday. No games on Wednesday. Six games on Tuesday and 4 games on Thursday. What games are we looking at here? The obvious one, Manchester United against Wolves. We'll look in a moment at who we can target from Manchester United. Newcastle are at Burnley. Now, people are saying Newcastle not that great away from home. Burnley pretty good defensively at home. I'm saying Newcastle played on Friday. Burnley played on Saturday. This gives Newcastle a clear advantage in this game. They're going to Burnley, who can't really rotate that much. And Newcastle have players like Harvey Barnes who don't start all the games. Jacob Murphy can sit out for him. He might decide to rest Anthony Gordon for the first half. There's all kinds of ways Newcastle can rotate going forward that will help their freshness throughout the 90 minutes. And I think over 90 minutes, Newcastle will win this game easily. So I think you can bet on Newcastle to win this. And if you've got the only problem is that you're looking at their key assets like Voltemada, Gordon, they might be rested for this game. He might decide to bring them on later. The only thing is, I can't remember now if Voltemata started in the last game. I know Anthony Gordon started and played a whole 90 minutes in the previous game. So I'm not sure if Gordon will start this game. So I'm not recommending necessarily buying Gordon for this. I bought him. I'm stuck with him for this one. He is on penalties. I think he's got a good chance of returning in this game. But that is one thing I think you should go for. Nottingham Forest at home to Everton. By all means, target Everton on this because I think they were weak at Burnley. I don't think they offered anything going forward. Nottingham Forest at least might keep a clean sheet here. Yeah. Arsenal, Aston Villa. Wow. Don't leave anyone on the bench. Goals will be scored in this game, I think. I think Arsenal need to win it, and they know they need to win it, so it should be a cracking game. And then we have Liverpool Leeds. Well, I recommended Gravenberch in the last video. Szoboszlai is back for this game. So Szoboszlai is definitely worth getting in for this game. We think he's on penalties. I say he's on penalties. We think he's on penalties. And he'll be fresh, having had the rest of a suspension for one game. Definitely a good choice. I'm not getting him in. I don't have any Liverpool players going into this fixture. I'll show you who I got in a moment. Spurs were effective against Crystal Palace, not particularly good. Crystal Palace looked awful. They're home to Fulham. I mean, this is on Thursday, so they'll have 3 days rest in between the game they played on Sunday. But they are looking pretty bad at the moment. Sunderland, Man City. Who knows what Man City team will be put out for this one? Let's just check the following fixture for City. I should call them Manchester City always, not City, because there's only one City. Manchester City home to Chelsea in the next game. So you could imagine Pep resting players for this game at Sunderland. Perhaps not Erling Haaland, maybe an early substitution for him, but it maybe, Foden might get a rest for this one. Don't be surprised to see your favorite Manchester City asset, apart from Haaland, getting a rest here. Ryan Cherki's been looking absolutely amazing, and he's cheaper than Foden. Now, I did an interview with Louis Shingleton at the start of the season. He picked out Ryan Cherki, said he was amazing in the Bundesliga. We're now seeing it in the Premier League. Cherki is an absolute star, and he plays for a brilliant football team. I'm starting to think I'm getting him in instead of Foden. He's just more exciting than Foden. I mean, Foden is playing really well. He played really well again in the last game. But Cherki I think there's a lot of players right now that are putting themselves forward to buy. And he's one of them. Let's go to transfers in for this week. So the popular transfers, Dorgu. I have bought Dalot. You can see here I bought Dalot. I sold Mukiele and bought Dalot because my defense isn't strong enough for this fixture, for this game week. So I brought in Dalot because I think Dalot's a much better bet than Dorgu, much more likely to keep his place long term, and has goal threat, has assist threat. I mean, not a hell of a lot, but enough to make it worth having against Wolves. He might be on my bench some weeks, but if I'm going to play 4-4-2 some weeks and 3-5-2 other weeks, it's good to have a better defender than Mukiele in there. And I don't think Dalot's a better player than Mukiele, but I do think he's more likely to score fancy points from this point onward because of fixtures mainly. A lot of people buying Keane, don't go there in my opinion. I want Gabriel. I'm going to get him in not this week and not next week, but probably the week after. He's got tough fixtures. Reece James is looking amazing. 5.7 is beginning to look a bit cheap for Reece James. So that's a good purchase. Okay, midfielders. Everyone's noticing Ryan Cherki, and why wouldn't you? The guy is absolutely incredible. I don't think this is any kind of flash in the pan thing. He's just superb. I know we did the same thing with Reinders early doors, and we said, "Oh, Reinders is going to be this and that," and I was definitely one of those people. So I'm not, pretending that I wasn't, but I don't feel the same way about Cherki. I think Cherki is amazing, and I want him, but I can't have him. I've got 3 Manchester City players and not enough transfers. Cunha for the Wolves fixture, very good buy. Roger's still popular, even though he's got difficult fixture. Wirtz scored a goal at the weekend, first goal of the Premier League goal of the season. Another good buy. I mean, really, I went through the transfers in last week and I said I wasn't interested. This week, very much agreeing with these transfers in. Ekitike still worth getting in. Calvert-Lewin has scored 6 goals in 6 Premier League games for Leeds. The first Leeds player to score 6 in 6 in the top flight since 1960. I mean, it's partly because Leeds haven't actually been in the top flight that much since 1960, even though they think they're a massive club. They've only been in the top flight maybe 20 of those years. But anyway, Voltemada, bit of Leeds shade for you there. Sorry about that. Voltemada, worth getting in for the Burnley fixture. But remember that Visser is now available. And I didn't want Voltemada anymore. I sold him just before his brace a couple of weeks ago, unfortunately. But I sold him because Visser is now available. And that really means his minutes will be restricted. Very good football player, by the way. Thiago, I'm really pleased Thiago looked like a proper player again for Brentford. Not just a penalty taker. I'm sticking with him for the minute. I don't have to transfer him at the moment. I'm happy with him in the team at the moment. His price is fine, and I got some value on him when his price went up. So I'm not happy about having Bruno Guimaraes and Anthony Gordon for this Burnley fixture. I do want to get rid of one of them. I think it's too much in midfield. I think there are better players. But this is the way I'm lining up at the moment. Justin Timber, I have on the bench because I'm just a little bit worried that he's might come off the bench for Arsenal as a substitute at some point during the game if he's not fully fit. And Hincapié I have in there. Hincapié is not guaranteed to play at all. Gabriel probably will start, and they think Hincapié will play at left back with Gabriel and Saliba in the middle. But I'm just a bit skeptical that he will play Lewis Skelly on the left. Hincapié has played a lot of football, so I'm not 100% happy about this. I brought in Dallo because I wanted to strengthen my defense. And truthfully, against Chelsea, I don't trust Bournemouth defense at the minute at all. So I'm a bit worried about Hincapié, I have to say. Um, I'm getting a bit fed up. Well, I got fed up with Enzo a few weeks ago, but my transfers when we had those 5 free transfers were so bad that I managed to stick with him. Um, I'm not happy about this team. I wasted my 5 free transfers, and I should have really sorted it out much better at that time. But I'm just gonna. I also think that at the moment the amount of fixtures and how close they are to each other means that we're going to see things we don't necessarily expect in the next few games. Maybe players scoring points that don't usually score points, or teams winning games that you didn't expect them to win. I think the next 4 games are going to be really interesting. I mean, just keeping up with them is going to be hard. There's games almost every day. Um, Luckily, I'm not working this week or the beginning of next week, so I'll be fine. But yeah, that is. Look. I keep saying I'm going to do an interview with somebody. I'm going to ask Piers today if he wants to come on Friday. Do an interview on Friday, and hopefully I'm going to get Adam or Freddie on next week to talk about Arsenal season because we're halfway through the season to follow up on the one we did at the start of the season. So this is quite a brief one, I suppose, but this is because everything's so fast. I hope there was something in there that you could take away. Thank you for watching. Please like the video and have a good game week. Uh, don't, I mean, I don't mind if my team doesn't do that well. I want it to happen. Don't worry if your team doesn't do too well. It's just fancy football. Nobody cares. Nobody pays as much attention to your team as you do, not even half as much. Okay, that's something one of the content creators always says, and it's so true. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.